Yo, 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 what's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Nate the Great coming at you with another live. You already know if you're new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. To all the returning friends and family, you already know it's peace and blessings. I'm gonna give y'all some time to tune in case these notifications ain't go out. First things first, hopefully everybody had a blessed and productive Monday. Hopefully everybody was smoothly able to get through the workday. I know for those outside of New York City, your kids are already out of school. Hopefully, y'all trying to make the best of your summer plans. Try to do as much as possible before the school year comes back into play. Appreciate everybody that tuned in earlier for the conversation and for the check-in. Angela, baby. Appreciate everybody that tuned in earlier for the check-in. Like I said, sometimes it's good to detach, especially when you you know, dealing with life. Sometimes you need that time and space to think, process, and then move forward. And that's the thing too. You can't fully get attached to life on social media. And I see some people are doing that. But we'll get into that on another day. But again, appreciate everybody that tuned in and rocked out earlier. For those that missed it, y'all could catch the replay. The title is clear as day, and we're gonna talk about it for a little bit. And I got a question for the people. Is love unconditional or is it transactional? I asked that question because some people say it's unconditional, but then again, they actions show otherwise that it's transactional. I'll give you a prime example. Are you getting married because you truly love that person, or are you getting married because it's just beneficial? Because again, transactional too. I've always felt when you click up with somebody and you move in towards building a future together, that means y'all supposed to be on all cylinders working together. It shouldn't feel like one is doing more than the other, and it definitely shouldn't feel like it's only being done because of a transaction. Didi, baby. I mean, like, prime example. I watched a video, and it goes to show why some people should just be careful with who they vetting out and who they planning on marrying, because some people ain't for it. Some people ain't in it for the love. They only in it for the benefits and what you can do for them. I watched a video where this lady, instead of going to her husband's funeral, she decides to go on a vacation. I guess he booked the vacation for them before he untimely passed. And you think, you know, let me just cancel this, or let me see if I could reschedule this at a later date. Nah, you still went. So you missed your husband's funeral to be on a vacation. What kind of love is that at all? That just goes to show you. Some people are only for you for what you can do for them. And the comment section was tearing up because how dare you lose your husband and then decide you don't want to go to the funeral? That trip was more important than your husband's funeral. And then thought, oh, you was going to be able to come back in time for the will reading and everything else, and thought he was going to leave you something. And hey, she got a rude awakening. She didn't get left nothing in that will. Everything went to that man's kids. Do you blame him? No. And some people already be steps ahead. They just don't say much. You know, I'm quite sure just by looking at her, you could tell, like, yeah, you just about money. You just about what could work for you. James, what's going on, my guy? I see you coffee cups in the chat. You know, but that's what I'm saying. Why is that always the thing there? Like, I thought when you fall in love with somebody or when you are in love with somebody, y'all supposed to be building and working together. No gray areas, no miscommunication, no nothing. And I thought when you love somebody unconditional, it's supposed to be reciprocated back. But we see nowadays everything seems to be transactions. And guess what? That transaction that you so focused on, how far is it really going to get you? Or what is it going to bring to your life? Like, what piece is it going to bring to your life? Because you got people right now who got money and they are miserable. And see, again, we only focus, it seems like, on again the beneficials of what somebody can do for you. But you know, it shouldn't be that way. Prime example, there's gonna be times and seasons where you might go through some financial burdens. But if y'all supposed to be a married couple, that means y'all supposed to work through that together. It shouldn't just be left on one person to take care of everything. No, you're both supposed to pull your weight, regardless to what. But again, it goes to show in some cases, some people are only for what you can do for them, even if it's to boost their ego, which is tragic because, again, this woman kind of got karma. I mean, because let's be real, you know, your husband died, and regardless to what, it is supposed to be respect. That's still your husband at the end of the day. And you decide that trip was more important than being there for the family or even just, trying to make sure everything is good. It's crazy. How could you now? Guess what? If let it would have been shoe on the other foot, let that man decide he not going to his wife's funeral because of a business trip or something else is more important than that. Watch how fast the internet try to throw shade and cancel his ass. But see, some of y'all women come on here and say the dumbest things out your mouth. Sorry to say it, you do. Some of y'all say the dumbest, the most harshest, and that's not even to be funny. It's like, do y'all think before y'all speak? And then y'all want to come on here like everybody's gonna be on your side. No, nobody's gonna be on your side when it's showing that you are nothing but misery. You nothing but a liability. Because again, you're only solely focusing on the financials and what that person could do for you. But there was other things that person did for you, hence why you got married, or at least that's why I believe you got married. But again, I think that that's the most selfish act when you could skip a loved one's funeral just to go and enjoy yourself because that was more important. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, at what point do we sit here and say, you know what? Let me not get into these situations if I know I'm not fully ready or capable to handle these situations. BMF, don't come over here with that, son. James locked the door. This dude still owe me some damn scratch off tickets. Don't come over here with that, BMF. Told you. I got time today, son. I'm on petty time. And don't give me no regular scratch offs. Give me the winning tickets. You don't need them. No, but you know what I'm saying? And that's the question that was posed tonight. That's why I had to put this title up. Again, like, is love transactional or is love unconditional? Because I always thought when unconditional love is is in its face and in its finest form, there's nothing that could break that tandem apart. Not the smallest or biggest arguments, you know, not the smallest or the biggest problems y'all can't work through together. You know, that's the truth. Like, do y'all realize when you take these vows that it's something serious? Like, it's not just a contract with you and somebody, that's a contract with you and the higher power if you believe in that. So when you breach contract by leaving, you slowly messing up everything. And again, love is supposed to be unconditional. I'm supposed to be able to say I love my partner no matter what they going through. You know, I'm supposed to be able to show them better than I could tell them how I feel about them. And again, a lot of times love is not what you say, it's the actions, what you do. Like I asked the question the other day, and even down to the younger generation, because I had a conversation with a younger woman about this same situation. And I'm sorry, this generation is cooked when it comes down to anything. And it's sad because everybody is leaning more on social media and everything else to tell them what to do or show them how to do things when it comes down to building a strong rapport and a relationship with people, which is sad though, because again, you should be able to trust your better judgment. If you know what feels good for you, if you know what's sitting right with you and your spirit, then why mess that up? And that's the thing. I had to ask that question, and I'm asking that question towards the females because it seems like y'all the ones that's doing the most when it comes to transactions. Oh, this person could only be with me if they up and if they able to provide and take care of everything. But what if that man is down for that small time frame? What if that man needed your help? Maybe it was just for that month. If you telling me you can't be with a person when they down, then why should you be able to be with them when they up and when they on a successful grind? See, again, some of y'all want a finished product, but y'all not willing to take the time and effort to build that product correct. So it could become even more profitable as far as, you know, growth. It's crazy. And this is not a bash, so I don't want nobody to think that neither. This is just me speaking to you with common logic and common sense. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I tried not to go down this road, but I had to go down this road. Because I asked that girl, would she be able to be with a partner if he was down for that little moment or if he asked you for help? And the answer that she gave, like I said, this generation cooked. Because how could you sit here and tell somebody, I'm not gonna do this and I'm not gonna do that, but you expect this man to be picture perfect? See, this is the problem with this generation right now, as far as a lot of the ladies are concerned. Y'all can't be with somebody or build with somebody when they down or when they at their low point. But you want them to be Superman and more. Guess what? Yeah, we are rocks, we are protectors, we are providers, all that good stuff. But even we need at certain points, even we need that time to be vulnerable, that time to relax, that time to at least repress what's most important. But again, when this feels like there's no safe space at all, this is where most of us will sit here and say, oh, well, then we don't need to talk about it. See, again, some of y'all talk about people being emotionally available, or you talk about, oh, well, y'all need to express yourselves more. And but I'm gonna be honest with you, like some men, we not always gonna sit here and broadcast every little thing that we feel or every little thing that we go through. This is why sometimes we process things, but it's hard to process when you got people that's just randomly in your ear all the time, you know? And that's the thing. You're supposed to be able to build with a person and share those good moments, the bad moments, and the in between moments. But when you showing that it's only about what a person could do for you on a financial level, that becomes a problem. But this is where I start bursting bubbles again because I could remember this point. Um, since everybody want to quote and want to use Bible quotes on certain situations, I could have swore it said you do those type of things, provide, protect, give provision, and do all of that to your wife, not your girlfriend, not your friend, not somebody you dating. See, even in the dating field, these people got the game messed up because the first thing they thinking about is what's your occupation? Do you make good enough money? Are you driving? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? Instead of focusing and building with that person. Naomi, baby. Oh my God, Naomi, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, sis. Condolences to you and the family. I know you just recently went through a situation, and again, sis, you know we here if you need to holler. Anytime I drop that link, you feel like you need to speak, you already know what it is. You know, again, healing prayers and condolences to your family in this time of need. Listen, I've been dealing with that to a degree too, hence why I was detached to a degree from this app. You know, I had people who was losing loved ones, and these is my sandbox people that was going through it. So imagine having to be the rock for multiple people within a week's time. It ain't easy, but you know, it does feel good to know that again, you got people that got your back no matter what. You know, this is the problem though, because it seems like again, people are getting together for all the wrong reasons. You know, and that's what I'm saying. You know, I'm one of those people that, you know, when I rock with you and I show you love, I try to be there as much as possible, no matter what. Even when I'm not in my best of moods. I believe that, you know, if somebody's going through something more worse, you try to help them the best way possible. And Naomi, I gotta remember to give you a wrench. I thought I did that shit already. My bad, y'all. See how I've been slipping? Like, but you know, like I said, you know, it's good to detach sometimes. We need that time to detach and just process things. See, I'm not big on zodiacs and all that other stuff, but some of the things that I was looking at earlier when it came to my sign, it really do point to me to a T, which is the scary part. You know, because like I said, some people would think you'll retreat just because you heard or that you whatever. Now we retreat because we got to sit back and process everything. Because once we let you in, we let you in. But the minute you violate, the minute you cross a line, even if it's the first time, we start processing. And then when it's all said and done, we start detaching, especially when we feel like it's not serving us no purpose. And that's the sad part. It seems like in some cases, like even when I'm going back to this topic right here, it shouldn't always be transactional because to be quite honest, y'all all want to use the Bible and want to use the good book, but in the same token, it says you supposed to desire onto your husband, right? Just like if a man leaves his family, that's like abandoning the church, right? So, you know, there's a lot of things y'all want to quote, but then when y'all really take the time and read and not just read in between the lines, some of y'all going to see that you way out of order, you know? And for some that feel like they not, hey, good luck. But, you know, this is the thing. If you truly love somebody, once that person decides they want to be with you forever, you need to let them know if this is really what you want to do or not. You know, you build up into that point. Wait, let me catch up with this real quick. Jimmy and I had highs and lows. We looking through that. I mean, in fact, Angela, that's the thing. You did the right thing, just like he did the right thing. You know, everybody's gonna go through their highs and lows, right? But again, it's about experiencing and trying to have that journey together. But if you're not trying to do anything to keep everything in motion, then sorry to say it, you know, things that you trying to reach for ain't gonna work. Because again, when you get into a relationship or when you are on the verge of being married, it's no longer just about yourself. It's about your partner as well. And if your partner is giving you everything that you've been desiring or everything that you've been looking for, you should be blessed to have that and do your best to keep it. Yo, Hood, don't come over here with that, son. Fake New York jersey that you got on, son. Angelo locked the door. Hood can't get up out of here neither. He owe me a damn Jordan jersey. And it need to be autographed. James, get the shotgun just in case he think it's a game. I know some of y'all probably watching the Nick game right now. I know. I know. Don't worry, Hood. Bronny getting traded to Istanbul, son, for $40 in a food stamp card. Don't worry about it, son. We in here. But you know, come on now. I mean, let's be real. I mean, love should be unconditional. I should be able to say I could wake up with you, go to sleep with you, be happy with you. We could go through the highs and lows together, and it shouldn't feel like you're going to flake out on somebody just because things ain't going the way you want it to go. And that's the thing. Like again, it seems like it's only about what somebody can do for you. Now, guess what? I'm gonna burst some of you ladies' bubbles. Y'all always cry about y'all want high value, y'all want this, but do y'all know what comes with all of that? Are you really prepared to be around all of that? Because with more money, it does become more problems. Now, I asked that question because again, you know, what happens if you actually find that person that you've been looking for that fits your quote unquote boxes, but guess what? You don't fit his. Now what? Again, some of these people y'all be reaching for ain't reaching for you, ain't even thinking about you. So a lot of y'all doing things again just to try to gain that attention, or you trying to gain something out of nothing, which is corny. Because if you truly love somebody, you could be with them whether they rich, broke, or whether they just going through the motions. Do you care about your partner's mental health as well too, or is it just about you? See, the reason why I had to ask the ladies all of this first, or why I'm bringing it to the ladies first, because again, I see a lot of shit, not just on here. I see things when I'm out in the streets now. Prime example. I just seen a situation where this girl was talking about some, oh, they thought I was beating on him, and oh, he threw himself out the chair, and why are you fighting a man for? That's another thing I'm gonna talk about later on too. Why do some of y'all think y'all that bold enough to fight a man? You do know, regardless to what, a man is still gonna always be stronger than you physically. So if that man decides to go Super Saiyan and knock your ass out, what you gonna do then? Call your brothers? Call your father? Call somebody else to get in the middle of that when it didn't have to happen? Stop putting your hands on each other. It's bad enough we got men out here who are doing that, but then now we got the ladies thinking that it's cool to be abusive until they find out the hard way. Don't think because you've seen certain videos where women was actually getting a one up on a dude that that's it. And in some cases, those dudes could have turned around and really caused havoc because we know our own strength. This is why we try to avoid, at least the real men try to avoid going to that problem. See, again, y'all want to challenge, man, but guess what happens? After a while, you keep challenging somebody, or after a while, you keep trying to be physical with somebody, they're going to get physical, whether you like it or not. And you have nobody to blame but yourself when it happens. I don't know where all this masculine aggression came from with some of y'all, but I think it's time for some of y'all to tune it down because if, especially you claiming you want to find somebody and you want somebody to love on you, you better do some, you better do some spiritual healing. You better do some reflection on your life see where you're going wrong at with certain things, and then you need to just try to do the right thing to gain what you're trying to gain. We're not going to gain nothing sweet putting in nothing but sour ingredients. That's why I asked the question today: was love transactional or is it supposed to be unconditional? Now, back to what I was saying with this lady in particular, you mad because you got left nothing. But technically, you left your family for nothing. That trip was more important than you burying your husband and trying to console the family, that just lost the patriarchy to the family. Now again, let it would have been the other way around. That man come on social media and post up that same type of whatever. I guarantee you, y'all would try to cancel him. Or, like I said, that man will always get chastised until the end of time. They'll get looked at funny. There's always going to be constant consequences and repercussions behind that, right? But when y'all decide to do certain things, y'all look for sympathy. Y'all look for people to say, oh, well, you deserve it. No, you don't deserve it. Again, you just lost somebody that you was linked to. Like, at some point, you had to have loved that man, because if you didn't love that person, you wouldn't have got married. But I see in some cases, some of y'all not marrying for love. Y'all marrying for the benefits. Y'all want the title of being married, or y'all want to brag and have bragging rights to say, yeah, I'm married now. But what you gonna do to maintain and sustain that marriage? Because what if y'all do fall on hard times? What if that man happens to have an injury where he's out of work for a little bit? Or let's say if he has a health issue, he gets sick. Are you gonna be able to stand with that person while they going through that, or are you gonna leave them? And in some cases, these people actually leave. So that's what I'm saying. Like, let's be real. You, if a man was to up and leave you while you at your weakest point, again, we will never hear the end of it. But when y'all leave, there's always an excuse. There's always somebody coddling. There's always somebody trying to justify something. Nothing justifies leaving your partner, regardless to what. And when your partner does pass away, you are supposed to be there, because again, you are part of that family. But when you decide you want to go have fun and do whatever else, and you ain't even thinking, like, it just seems like you didn't care. You only cared about what was being left in the will. And when you found out it wasn't nothing, now you was upset. And now I think she's also facing homelessness. Yeah, because what did you think? He was going to get the house, the money, and everything else? No. And again, some people be wise or be 5 steps ahead, because if they already feel like that person is not there for them or is not there for the right reasons, then they'll mentally check out. They'll still be there physically, but they'll mentally check out. Just Jay, baby. You already know, if y'all just tuned in, hit the like button. I know, again, some of y'all watching this Knick game, Spurs game. I know this is a critical one, especially for those in the city, because it's been a minute since we won one basketball wise. But, you know, I still had to come on here and just, chime in with the people, only because I wanted to ask that question tonight. I was going to talk about it earlier, but I just wanted to do a quick check in with the people, you know. But, you know, I mean, what's really important? Is it supposed to be unconditional love or transactional love? Transactional love is only going to get you but so far. Because guess what? See what just happened in that situation. She thought she was going to just abandon her situation and thought she was gonna come back to a will reading thinking that she was gonna get something, just to find out you about to be homeless and that you got left nothing, you know? And that wasn't, in my opinion, I don't feel bad. That's karma. I've always felt like that. If you could sit here and not attend your husband or even your wife's funeral, that karma comes back. And that karma comes back from the higher power because it shows again, you didn't give a damn about nobody but yourself. So why should you have anything? Let you let you find out by yourself. Come on, man. Like I said, the things that some of y'all do, men won't think to do. And the men that do it, like I said, they get backlash behind it. And there is situations where some of y'all have been getting backlash, and that's critical, but it's also important again because it shouldn't just be one person or one group of people getting criticized for certain actions, and then the other group is always getting a slap on the wrist. No, it's unfair. I feel anytime you come on here or anytime you come on any of these platforms and say and do some of the dumbest things you can say and do, expect a whole bunch of get back. Expect people to tell you about yourself. Don't expect to get sympathy and kudos for what you did. No, you're gonna get this work, you know. And just like I said, I don't care what the situation is. Still your husband. You should have made sure that everybody was good. You know, you should have been with the family, not on a vacation. Come on there. Frugal baby. Yeah, Naomi, it is crazy because again, you just lost your husband. And instead of you trying to make sure everything is planned correctly for the funeral and make sure everything is everything with the family, you decide you want to take your trip only because you didn't want to cancel it and only because he passed away untimely. But again, it shouldn't be transactional. You thought you was gonna skip the funeral, have your little vacation, have your fun, and then come back to a will reading thinking you're gonna get some money, thinking you're gonna get left property or whatever. No. Some people again already know. So they prepare for these type of situations just in case if something does happen, which I don't blame them. Because if I feel like you only with me because what I could do for you, shit, I'm already checked out. And before it's all said and done, I ain't even going far with you. You'll be gone. You'll be on the next train smoking. And that's how it should be. Because again, nobody should be with you just because of transactional situations. If somebody truly cares for you and loves you, they're gonna show you. Words are just words, but when actions speak louder than it, guess what? That's when you know you got something good. But even in some cases, like prime example, what I was just saying earlier about the young girl I was talking to, you literally sat here and said, "Oh, I'm not gonna do this, and I'm not gonna do that." So you basically saying the only time you'll stay with that man is when that man is up. But if that man is down, you're not going to try to uplift him. You're not going to try to, you know, make sure he's in the right mental space. Like, this is what I'm saying. Y'all cry about everything a man should be doing, but do y'all know what y'all supposed to be doing for a man as well, too? Outside of quote unquote giving box, what do you think you're supposed to bring to that man's life? Especially somebody who's either already established or on the verge of being established. What do you think you're supposed to bring to their life? See, this is where some of y'all get the game messed up. Again, it's only about yourself. And you'll only be in situations when it benefits you. And Chris Rock, he did say something that I think that's why I had to ask that question too, because it was something I was watching earlier. Like I said, men love unconditionally, but it seems like nowadays women love with conditions. They'll only love you for as much as you can do for them. And I'm not saying all,
I don't want to get y'all confused. No, I'm not saying no. But there are a lot of women out there that, again, they will only love you for as long as you can do for them. When the minute you can't do something, the minute you stop doing something, it becomes a problem. So then where's the unconditional love at if you only worried about what I could do for you? There again might be a time where I could be down and out. Are you gonna be able to ride with me through that rough patch? Or are you gonna up and leave me while I'm at my lowest? But do know when you leave somebody when they at their lowest, again, that's when karma comes back to bite you in the ass. Just want you to know that. It will come to that. James, can you do me a favor, bro, and just drop the backup channel too? I'm trying to get those subs up for the backup, y'all. I'm gonna start doing some real in depths on the backup. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, at what point do some of y'all say, you know what? Let me make sure I'm dealing with this person for the right reason. Because again, once you decide to get married, all bets is off. Every little doubt, fear, or anything that you felt like would have stopped you from moving forward, once you've already felt like you're moving forward, there is no going back. When you say you want to be with somebody forever, that's what it means. And if you breach a contract, that's just like with anything. You breach any type of contract, expect backlash behind it. Come on. It's only so much you gonna do before your karma comes, you know? And that's where some people, again, get the game messed up. Like, see, with the first story, your karma came as soon as you got back to that will reading and realized you didn't get nothing. Just like the story I was telling y'all about a while back about the doctor that was, falling ill because he had caught cancer. Now, you figure, your wife say, and she was sitting there saying the story like, oh, he did everything. He was nice, he was caring, he took care of things, and y'all like all the good stuff y'all always want to tell him that a man was doing. But then in the same token, you left that man because he got sick. You left that man because the bills was getting a little bit, you know, overpowered. But in the same token, what do you expect somebody to do when they are battling cancer? You know where her karma came? When she left that nigga, guess what? He got better. He got back in his position the way he was at. He found somebody new, remarried. Where do you think she's sitting at right now? In Saltyville, USA. All because you just couldn't ride just because you couldn't ride. And that's why I said when you ask these questions, it's important. You know, it's important. It's important to know what somebody is with you for or why somebody's with you. And again, if you are only getting with somebody solely for transactional reasons, at some point you're gonna meet that form of karma that you wasn't expecting. And I've noticed that when it comes down to, at least in this dating field that I'm seeing now, again, it seems like everything is only transaction, only what you can do for a person. I also want you to know this too. In some cases, it's not just solely about you when it comes, and we gonna skip the financial part of it. It's not just about you when it comes down to how you feeling, how the person. It's about how your partner is feeling overall. It shouldn't always just be about you. Like I was sitting there asking that girl, I said, so you going to tell me that if that person was down and out, you're not going to be able to help that man, even if it's just a small time to help that man, but you want that man to be 10 toes down and you want that man to have everything in place. Guess what? There are good men out there who are not fully established where they should be at, but that don't mean they not trying to get there. And that don't also mean that they're not good people just because they not rich or because they not where you feel they should be at. See, again, y'all only focus on transactional shit. Y'all not worried about if this person is good for you mentally, spiritually. Y'all don't worry about that. It's just about what they can do for me. So imagine, you got some of these women that come on these platforms and they always saying, it's like they double speaking to a degree. Because let's be real. How can you sit here in one breath say that this person was nice, compassionate, he did for you, he paid his way, he did everything. But then in another breath, you'll sit here and say, oh, he got controlling, he was being narcissistic, he was kind of being abusive and possessive. No, just because a man has standards and he expects you to meet those standards, that does not mean it's narcissism nor anything else. That's just a man with standards, and that's just a man standing his ground regardless. You can't get mad because, again, y'all can have standards, right? Y'all can have preferences, right? So why when it's a man, it's either it's too zesty or it's just a problem. Oh, you just supposed to. No. See, like prime example, there's some of y'all who y'all have multiple outlets to run to, speak to, and process everything, right? Most men don't have a safe space. And the safe space that we think we got to be careful because, again, we never know. Because, see, when men are at their vulnerable and when men speak from a certain situation, y'all will try to villainize or weaponize it, especially when you're upset with that person. And this is, again, if a person don't feel comfortable or if you're going to sit here and use something. That was another thing I told that young girl we was having this conversation. I said, this is another reason why you will be a walking red flag. Clear example of that. So you want this person to take care of everything, take care of you. You want this man to also bust his ass and work multiple hours. You want this man to take damn near all the, and that's another thing y'all keep talking about is, oh, we take the mental load. We take more mental load than you. I'm sorry. Because we got to go out in the world and deal with a lot of nonsense, especially when it's just going to work. We deal with multiple personalities day in and day out. Some of those personalities don't mesh well with us, but we still got to be professional about it. So again, when that man decides he needs peace, give that man peace. It's not hard to do. Y'all want y'all peace. Y'all want y'all little whatever, right? That's all I'm saying. The things that y'all be requiring when y'all not trying to give it back. And again, if a man is supposed to be able to come to you, right, he shouldn't have to worry about you trying to weaponize something that he said to you, especially if it was in confidence. Because once you do that one good time with any good man for that matter, you can forget about that man opening up to you about anything else. Or 9 out of 10, you could kiss that man goodbye. Because that man is going to already do his processing. And when he feels what he feels, or when he comes to that conclusion on what he was thinking, guess what? If that's really what it is, it's going to show. And then that man going to leave. Matrix Reborn. I think you got it, though, James. Matrix Reborn. You got it. But this is all I'm saying. Y'all can't expect people to come to you, talk to you, or even vibe with you in that sense. And then when it's all said and done, when y'all get upset or when y'all getting your feelings about something, first thing y'all doing is using that against them. See, again, unconditional love it means what it means. I could love you whether you was on the top of the mountain, at the bottom of the mountain, if the middle of the mountain. And that's the thing. Like, we show love, but our love is different compared to y'all love. This is why I say y'all always say y'all want equal, equal, equal. But to be quite honest, there are going to be things in life that we are just not going to be equal in. And then when we do give you forms of equality, now it's a problem. So let's try this again. Again, everybody has a role they need to play in life. When it comes down to building with somebody, y'all have roles, you know. But see, in this type of scenario, again, everybody wants equality. But when it comes down to really doing a brunt of the physical labor and everything else, are y'all going to be saying that same thing, or y'all going to start complaining? Because some of y'all will complain. Like I said, it's amazing how you go from I'm independent, I don't need nobody, to I don't want to do this no more. I need help. I need somebody. You just said you didn't need nobody. And that's the thing. Stop saying that I'm independent, I don't need nobody for nothing, but then you still begging, dry begging for something on here. An independent person don't ask for nothing. An independent person just does it. So y'all can't be that independent if you're still on here begging and looking for somebody to pay your way. You can't be independent and you still in debt. You can't be independent and all these things you talk about ain't into fruition. We all need each other regardless. This is why we're both here, men and women. We are here for that good divine reason, for procreation, but also building structure and building that family core to no limits. Appreciate you, my guy. Appreciate you. And for some of y'all, even in the shadows, make sure y'all sub up to that backup. I'm gonna try to go live on there at some point. Do some of the same things I'm doing over here. But when it's all said and done, you gotta know that you are truly down for somebody. And again, if you truly love somebody, your actions will always speak louder than your words. Because I could buy you all the roses, I could buy you all of the most expensive things, but that's still not going to equal to the amount of love that I have for you. And that's where some people again get the game messed up. Because gifts are going to come, gifts are going to go. And again, you can't expect something every day, every week, every month. But know when that person does something for you, they're doing it from the heart. And they doing it because, again, they surely love you. And they solely love you. But see, the problem right now is there's too much entitlement. Some of y'all feel like, oh, I'm entitled to have this and I'm entitled to have that. I should be able to get this with no problem. But there's always going to be a problem. And the reason why it's going to be a problem is because, again, you should be with that person because that person makes you happy. That person makes you feel safe. That person is actually doing all the right things to keep you. That person is willing to protect you at all costs. That person is willing to give his last if he has to, just for you. But there's got to be reciprocation back. I asked one woman, I said, you sat here and said you want somebody who is well established. But guess what? That's a finished product. Do you think that finished product is looking at you the same way? Do you think that person is even looking for you at all?
Are you even on that person's radar? Just like I said a while back, there's some of y'all who claim, oh, where all the good men at? Why the good men not approaching, or why the good men are just hiding? They not hiding. There's good men all around, everywhere. You just ain't looking for them. You looking for the opposite of a good man. And I'm tired of some of y'all women coming on these platforms and saying that. Because again, if you claim to love somebody and if you claim you with that person for all good reasons, then you should be staying for all the good reasons as well too. I've always felt like this. If you're not getting your head put between a washer and dryer, if you're not verbally getting abused, if person that you with is not cheating and creating babies outside of, everything else should be, or better yet, if that person is not a complete drug addict and is far gone to the drugs, everything else should be able to be talked about and worked upon. Because again, not every marriage is going to be perfect. Just like not every relationship is going to be perfect. Y'all going to have to work and continuously work, especially you are sharing the journey together. But some of y'all have lost sight in that because it's all about what a person can do for you and not what you can do for that person. I asked this girl, I said, so what would you be offering to this person if you did come across them? Because again, you don't think they got standards that need to be met too? They got standards and they got preferences too. So if you don't meet any of those requirements, guess what? You're going to be back to square one. Again, it's about being reasonable. Have reasonable expectations. And also remember, you can't put pressure on your partner. And some of y'all are notorious for doing that. Y'all are energy vampires to a degree. You know, again, you complain about the things that a person not doing, but instead of that, you should be praising the good things they are doing for you. You should appreciate the fact that this person is still willing to break their backs just to try to make things work. You know, but again, we in a world now where everything is about transaction and what you want to get out the deal. And you know it's bad because I watched a situation where this woman came on and said that she did a few things for her. She did a few things, I believe, for her boyfriend or her husband. Because I was mostly just reading the comments. And almost everybody in the comments said the same thing. You did all of this for him. What's in it for you? And it's sad when even the people that are just watching and viewing you are saying the same thing. It seems like you only worried about the transactional part. You did all of this, but what's going to be in the return? What do you expect from him in return? It's sad when again y'all getting that title of transactional lovers and not unconditional lovers. See, and then like you say you want a good man, but all the good men are either within your vicinity, they probably in your inboxes, or they probably in your friend zone. But hey, you're not looking for them because if you really was, you would pick one of the ones that best fit for you and try to make something work with them. But you know, they always say, "Oh, I got a roster." Y'all the only ones that got a roster. Y'all think men got a roster? We don't. Because when we value one person, we try to do the best for that one person that we value. We don't have a roster. Like sometimes we don't plan ahead. If we are solid on trying to seek something and conquer, we're gonna do it. But when it's not good or when it just ain't right and it's not serving the purpose, we ain't going to chase. I would say for some of you fellas out there too, just be real and tell a person what you want.
And if they not, if they, because they could be listening to what you're saying, but did they hear what you said? Did they listen to the message? If you see that they ain't listening to it, or they ain't trying to listen to it, then that's a good move. Just walk away from it, because there's always going to be some form of up and down when it comes to that. Because I could be trying to do something for you that's beneficial, or I could just be doing something that's beneficial for both of us. But if you're going to work against that, that's a problem. See, again, y'all always want somebody to be with you, but then you want to challenge. Some people don't do challenges. Some people conquer those challenges. And again, the one thing and the worst thing anybody could do is start detaching from it. Because trust me, once you lose that attachment to somebody, 9 out of 10, you ain't gonna be able to get that same version again. Even if that person forgives you, you ain't gonna be able to get that same version. And that person probably ain't gonna be as open as they once was before. So again, some of y'all need to think and choose your and choose your actions wisely. Because if you don't, there will be severe consequences behind it. And those consequences will land on you, whether you want to believe it or not. Prime example, again, like the first story. Her karma came back the minute she came and thought she was going to be blessed with anything that man left. No, that man knew what he was doing. May that man rest in peace, because again, it's sad when you got people that think love you, and they only love you for what you can do for them. They don't love you for who you are. They don't love you for all the good things you have done for them, even when it's not dealing with financials. Again, they just worried about what I'm gonna get out the deal when it's all said and done. That's not love. That's a liability with a price tag on it. So, this is why I say it's important to have these type of talks and discussions, because again, when it's all said and done, it's about your peace. And I would say this on both ends. Like, again, some of y'all women are trying to get married, but then y'all getting married for the wrong reasons. And some of you fellas, the same thing. Again, when you decide you're going to marry somebody, that's a lifetime commitment. That's a lifetime contract. And once you breach that contract, trust me, the things that come behind it, it ain't going to be pretty. You think you're going to be sitting pretty, it ain't going to happen. Now imagine living in a state where even if you catch your partner cheating and you decide to file for divorce, you still got to give that person half of what the hell you made, or half of your stuff. How is that fair? How is that fair on any level? That's highway robbery. If I catch my significant other cheating and I decide to file for divorce because I can't deal with it, you mean to tell me I still got to give him something? Come on, if every state was like that, trust me, it'd be a lot less people getting married now. And that'd be on both ends, because trust me, it's sad. When you decide to take those vows and you decide to step over that broom with somebody, again, that's a lifetime choice and a commitment. And if you're not prepared to be with somebody for life, if you're not prepared to love them through their tough times, through their good times, through their bad times, through anything, then you're getting married for all the wrong reasons. You shouldn't even think about it. Prime example. Somebody asked me, how would I feel if if I decided to pop the question to somebody and they told me no right then and there? If they told me no right then and there, then I know 9 out of 10, they ain't gonna never be ready. Because when somebody is really, truly investing in you and they want to make it work with you, they're gonna do it. It's not I was pushed into it, or I was only in it for this. No, if you truly love somebody and you're about to take that ultimate step, then you got to be prepared on all angles, spiritually, mentally, and physically. Because again, this is what we say. We love unconditional. If you were sick, we trying to do everything to make sure you good. We trying to make sure that you're better. When you broke, we take care of the bulk of that situation when it comes to financials.
When you feeling like you spiritually broke, we try to be those people to listen to you. But again, it's sad when people are crying about there's nothing good out there, or it seems like it's a shortage of good people out there. No, they're out there. You just ain't looking in their direction. You looking everywhere else but in their direction. And then once you done either been passed around, or once you see that things are not going the way you want it to go, now you want to seek that good person. You should have been seeking that good person to begin with. When that good person was around you and showing you everything, you should have been doing the same things back. But you did. And you see, and it's not just about transactional love. Because transactional love, that shit can come and go. But unconditional love, that's forever. And when you share that with somebody, that's the most important and precious thing. And nobody should be able to take that from you. Remember, the thief of joy is comparison. A lot of y'all losing out on good situations now because you're comparing your situation to everybody else's. What works for that group might not work for you. And this is again where people get the misconception. You worried about people who traveling and living their best life, but guess what? They worked hard to do that. And 9 out of 10, they work together so that can happen. But when you're not working together with your partner, you're working against them. And now that partner has to work even more just to try to do the things that you crying about them doing. Remember, when you constantly keep complaining, nagging, and putting pressure on your partner will eventually mentally check out because it's too much, especially when they already got enough to deal with. They shouldn't have to worry about you complaining, or they shouldn't have to worry about you constantly complaining. When again, sometimes there's going to be things that's going to take time to build and to structure correctly. So you can't just rush into these things. And again, it's the same thing with marriage. Don't rush into that situation if you're not prepared to be in that situation. If you know you're not ready to be married, you're not ready to be solid with one person for life, then do what you do until further notice. But just remember, there's always going to be a timetable to things. The older you get, trust me, the less valuable options you'll find out there. So I would say this in so many words. Stop letting love be transactional and let love be unconditional. You learn to value those things correctly. When you learn that, again, it's not just solely about you when you are making that commitment to somebody, trust me, things will shape out correctly. You see why some of the marriages from back in our days was so strong, even when they was going through personal issues and certain things that we know would break people up today. They went through it not just because they was forced to go through it. No, they went through it because again, they truly loved each other. And regardless to what, nothing could stop something that's unconditional. Nothing could break that holy union outside of God Himself. So again, if you getting married for all the wrong reasons, you'll find out the hard way. But all in all, though, again, the question remains, you know, in this day and age, is love transactional or is it unconditional? And if it's transactional, good luck with trying to find everything else behind that. Because now, when you do decide, I want to be happy, I want to focus on this, I want to do this, it'll be too late. And again, I would say this for anybody. If you lost somebody that you love or you said you love, you're going to do everything to make sure that, again, everything is perfect. or at least that everything is where it needs to be at. Again, because you just lost somebody that you was tied to on the spiritual level. So remember, when you decide to take those vows and you decide you're going to go all the way with somebody, if you're not going to be able to take care of the most important things, if you're not going to be able to withstand the storms when they come, if you're not going to be able to uplift your partner in the best ways possible, you're going to lose everything good that's coming. Because good people are a blessing in disguise. Yeah, you know, you'll find them. But when you find them, you make sure you don't lose them. Because when you lose something good, it could be for life. Because again, when you give the option and when you telling somebody or showing somebody that they're not even important to you, then guess what? They will find somebody who is. And when you lose that, don't get mad about it. Don't be salty about it. You chose it. Again, when somebody decides to open a world up to you, you don't take it for granted. See, like me, I've always been that way. I love deep, but I hate deeper. And it's rare that I hate. But if I do get in that, it's for good reason. But I still won't even say I hate. You know, I learned the lesson and I keep it moving from there. See, I process things differently. I don't go off of emotion like some people do. I'm going to always be logical regardless to what. Even when I'm feeling emotional, my logics will tell me anything better than my emotions will. When you allow your emotions to do your speaking and do whatever, you could possibly crash out. Or you could possibly do something that could be detrimental to your life, your health, all of that. Your peace is more important than anything. And if you with somebody that's not bringing you peace, you need to find somebody who will. But y'all already know, if y'all just tuned in, hit that like button. If y'all new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I know it's been a couple weeks since I've been on here. I know y'all expecting a couple lives at least out the week. Like I said, I just been dealing with a lot outside of, you know, and I'm to that point now where, it's going to start getting very hectic, now that the weather's getting nice. These kids about to be out of school. So there's going to be days I ain't going to be able to do as much. I'm going to be either too tired or I'm going to just be too busy. But when I do bring something, y'all already know I'm going to always bring some form of a healthy conversation that's needed. And again, for those who need to hear this, it's good to detach, and it's also good to take a step back and process things. Don't burn yourself out when you're doing way too much, you know? And when your mental load is a little bit overloaded, again, take the step back. Take the step back that you need and, process. Process, do what you need to do, and move the, you know, move the ship forward in life, basically. But again, when you saying that you love somebody and that you care about somebody, your actions should always show. When your actions don't show, then that becomes the problem at hand. And when people start realizing that, trust me, it ain't gonna be a good look for you. But I had to come bring this conversation today because that was something that was lingering in my mind too, because I just wanted to ask that. Again, Transactional love or unconditional love? Which category do you fall in? And if you fall in that category of transactional love, you'll never find the true happiness that you seek, and everything that you think is happiness will end up turning into misery. But if it's unconditional love, that type of bond can never be broken till death do you part. So it's time for some of y'all to start thinking what's more important, your transactional or something that's unconditional. Choice is yours. But I would also say this in certain cases, don't be surprised when you get what you keep asking for. That's why they always tell you be careful of what you ask for because you might just get it. So, all in all, though, just want to chime in with the folks real quick. Selena, baby. But yeah, again, this is why I talk like that is important. I'll drop the link in case anybody want to chime in. But, again, when it's all said and done, you're supposed to be doing these things for the right reasons. If you marrying somebody because you truly love them and you truly want to spend the rest of your life with them, then again, your actions are going to have to match the feelings. And that's on both ends. Don't just be trying to seek something just because you think is going to be a benefit behind it. The real benefit should really be I found somebody special. I found somebody that loves me as much as I love them. And they willing to take this journey with me no matter where this journey leads us. But when you marrying for all the wrong reasons, you're going to get all the wrong results and consequences behind that. So just think about that before you decide to up and jump the gun. You know? And again, you get tired of hearing these situations. Oh, well, this person and this person. No, like, so you going to tell me in life you never had at least one good person in your life? If you haven't had one good person in your life, that just shows that you're a bad judge of character when it comes down to choosing people. And you need to work on that. Because if you're going to keep constantly making the same mistakes or keep constantly coming across the same type of people, there's something that you're doing. How is it every situation you've been in, it seems like it's the other person that did something, but you did nothing? That's why accountability is always going to be another thing. If both partners could be accountable and hold each other accountable for things and it don't go outside of, that's even more perfect because you're at least able to sit down as adults and have the conversation the way you're supposed to have it. Nowadays, people act like they scared to talk. Oh, they'll come on social media and talk, but they won't talk to their partners behind the scenes. And that's another reason why some of y'all are losing out on good situations now. Because instead of you talking with your partner behind the scenes, you want to bring it to the world. And then now everybody has a view and opinion. And then another thing, some of y'all don't tell the whole truth. You only tell a part of the truth. You only tell, oh, this person did this, but what did you do for that to happen? Or what did you do? Like, come on now. People ain't just going to do things unless it's something that was done to them. Maybe it's me. I'm different. It's certain things that where most people would lash out or try to get back. I don't be focusing on that. My get back is silence. And you can't come back when somebody is silent on you. Nothing you can say or do to move that person or do anything. When that person decides to mentally check out and even be silent, you better be worried. Remember, silent people are the ones you always got to fear because you don't know what they're thinking and you don't know what could happen. That's why I always try to tell people you treat people accordingly. You don't use people to your benefit, and you definitely don't try to exit out the people that really have meant something or really have done something for you. But again, everybody's only focusing on what they could do for you money wise. They ain't focusing on what could you do for me spiritually. Are you gonna add peace to my life? Are you gonna add comfort? Are you gonna be able to again withstand these storms that we are gonna be facing while we're together? I appreciate you, James, for dropping those links. But this is why I said it's important. Know what you know what you getting yourself into. And you gotta also remember this. There are some people who really go by that rule. They don't believe in divorce. So if you got somebody like that, you better be prepared to work it out until either one of y'all pass. Like, can you blame them? Like I said, you just got to do better. Some of y'all have to really think about the most important things because money going to come and go. Bills are going to be forever. Again, you're going to have your ups and downs, but are you going to be able to stay together through those ups and downs? That's where the real testament of time will start to present itself. Again, some people that I know from my generation when I was coming up are still together now, 40, 50, 60 years later. No matter what the situation was, whether there was infidelity or certain things along those lines, guess what? The love that was so unconditional between those two people overrided everything. When you truly love somebody, you don't make them feel less than, and you definitely don't keep them out the loop. But also, the main thing to remember is that your personal matters and your private matters should be between y'all, not for the world. And some of y'all making this mistake over and over again. You're constantly coming on platforms and talking crazy and talking nonsense about somebody that you're with. But what happens when that person gets a hold of that video or gets a hold of that message? What you think gonna happen? That need to go viral and that need to gain attention from strangers, that's going to be a lot of you women's downfall when it comes down to these social media platforms here. Because you can't constantly keep belittling and talking about somebody and that person is still doing for you. And there's some of y'all who are doing that now. You're still living under that person's roof. That person is still doing right by you, but you decide you want to talk foul about them. If you truly didn't love that person and didn't want to be with that person, you should have just let it be known from Jump Street. You know, good looking out for the score, James, because I was going to be watching the game, but I said I wanted to come back and do another live since I did one earlier. But I said I wanted to ask that question tonight. You know, again, when you love somebody, you're gonna do anything in your power to make sure that they feel that love on a daily. And when you are at your weakest moment, you are supposed to be able to come to your safe space, which is your partner. Like I said, men deal with enough as it is going out in the world day by day because we are already hardwired to be laborers and workers and providers. That's just in our nature. We might love differently, we might do certain things differently, but nonetheless, this is who we are. And again, for some of y'all that are crying about there is no good men out there, shut the hell up and go outside and you'll find it. Like, come on now. Like, shut up. Stop worrying about everybody else. Worry about yourself and go find what you're looking for. You might just find it. Because I can remember again, before social media was a big thing, you had to actually go out and socialize with people, not be on the phone, FaceTiming and doing. No, it was usually if I liked you, I was getting your number. If I got your number, I called you on the house phone before the cell phones even became popular. I called you on the house phone. We linked up. That was it. Nowadays is, oh, well, we can do this and we can do that. Again, it seems like social media has gotten to a point now where even when it comes down to love, nothing is sacred no more. Everything has to be out in the open. You know what a person loves the most? When a partner is able to keep things under wraps and keep things silent. When you start transmissioning to the world about every little thing that's going on in your private life, expect some consequences behind that. Expect people to have views and opinions on it. I think I said that to y'all, but I'm no, actually, I'm gonna say it to y'all now. Because prime example, I watched a situation where this lady said something, and I really don't fully want to repeat it because I already know how YouTube would do it too. But long story short, you try to put that man on blast and you try to embarrass him, but in the same token, you embarrassed yourself. And the comments said themselves. You allowed that man to do it. So why is it a problem now? And if you knew certain situations, or if you knew you was about to get into a certain situation, you should have thought about your hygiene first before anything. Stop trying to come on here and embarrass people, and then you end up embarrassing yourselves. Again, what happened to sacrecy? And I had a live about that a while back, I know. And I think I'm gonna have a part two to that. Because what is sacred anymore? I thought when it came down to personal matters, especially when it's dealing with your partner or dealing with your husband, dealing with your wife, whatever, that is supposed to stay behind closed doors and not on social media. That's why I said right now, the game is cooked right now. The only way the game will get back to its original order, at least in my opinion, and my careful observation, is if some of y'all stop worrying about all the transactional situations that a person could do for you and worry about that person is just the actual good fit for you. You know? And when you do have something good, when you got something that again is not just beneficial on the financial tip, but beneficial on the spiritual tip, you do everything in your power to cling on to that. Yeah, I can tell it's a quiet one because all the Knicks fans that's watching the game right now, especially at these bars and grills, because I'm on the plantation, they upset right now because they wasn't they quiet now. When they was winning the other night, you heard the whole area get crazy. Chrissy baby. But yeah, again, certain matters should remain private. And again, there's going to be a lot of you who end up losing out on good things because of that. Stop always coming to social media to address and express all of your personal problems and frustrations. This is what you have somebody for. Go talk to them and y'all sit down as grown-ups and have the conversation. Again, some of y'all thinking that it's cool or thinking that, oh, they ain't gonna never find out. Guess what? The internet never forgets. Something will resurface. And when it does, it could be bad on your end. Because I've seen one situation where a person basically lost their husband because same thing. You decided that you should come on here and belittle your partner, even when your partner is doing everything that you ever asked for and done things that you didn't even ask for. But you decide to come on here and belittle him or say, oh, I wasn't really attracted or I really wasn't liking them at first, but I grew to love them. How do you grow to love somebody? That's not a damn animal. Like, come on now. You grow to love pets. You don't grow to love people. Like, come on now. If you truly like somebody or love somebody, your actions are always going to speak louder than your words. You know? And sometimes the smallest actions could be a downfall for some of y'all. I just want y'all to understand that too. Nothing makes a person feel worse than feeling like they unwanted. And once they feel that way, that's when the detachment starts. I can speak from experience, but I can also say I've seen this with my own eyes. When you making somebody feel like they less than, when you make somebody feel like they unwanted in any space, when again you're not showing them true actions of caring for them and loving them the way you say you do, you'll end up losing that person for good. The thing about detachment is, again, you'll never notice that it's happening because it probably already started the minute certain things transpired. So again, some of y'all need to be careful with your choice of words, your choice of actions, and just your overall thoughts of people. You can't make judgments off of people you barely know, and you can't make assumptions neither. You give that person time and space to show who they truly are. But maybe it's me. I think differently. I am a man at the end of the day, so my thoughts and my views might not resonate with everybody. But this is how I personally think. Notice I said think. I ain't never say feel, because feelings come and go. You could be feeling happy one minute, and you could be feeling down the next. You could be feeling joyous, but you could also feel anxious. See, again, it's a feeling, it's an emotion. But when you live by logic, a lot of that don't phase a person. The thing about detachment, again, is, again, you'll never know that it's happening. And by the time you realize it, it could be possibly too late. But again, I mostly just wanted to chime in tonight. I think the link is still in the chat in case anybody want to chime in. But again, love is always supposed to be unconditional, never transactional. There should be no conditions on love. There should be no conditions on building with somebody that you truly trust. The only real conditions is to not break each other's heart and to respect and really just love each other. Because respect is going to go more than anything. And that's another thing. When you have respect for each other and it's deep to the core, again, no matter what situation you in, can't be broken. If true love could have been bought, there's a lot of y'all that would have been the richest people on earth right now. If love was only solely about money, be a lot of y'all crying right now. Because again, money gonna come and go. But unconditional love, that's forever. And when you have that, there's nothing that can destroy that building. Because you built from a real great place. You didn't build from a dark place. You built from a place where you could see everything. When you love somebody, you love them for who they are, not just what they could do for you or what you think they can do for you. And when you do have somebody who is doing everything and even the things you didn't ask for, you better love that and cherish that because those blessings are rare. And once that blessing is gone, it'll probably be a long time before you find another one. Preserve your energy and preserve your peace. Yes, your mental health is always the most important. But when you are building with somebody or when you are trying to build with somebody, again, the communication must always stay open. And the minute that a person feels a type of way, you could have a problem. But if you're able to spot it and catch it, then you'll be able to salvage something. See, communication works both ways. The same way you want the person to listen to you, you got to listen to them and actually hear what's being said. See, these are the messages and these are the type of talks that people be really scared to have. I ain't afraid to have these talks. I think that's what I've noticed about myself throughout the course of time itself. I'm not afraid to go deep, especially if I know it's going to bring something great out of it. So this conversation was definitely one of them because, again, I had to ask the ladies first because I'm going to ask the fellas that same thing. When y'all are choosing these women to marry, is it unconditional love or is it transactional love? But ladies, I had to ask y'all this first because it seems like in some cases there are a lot of you who are only focusing on transactional situations. Not saying that you shouldn't be worried about certain things in life, but everybody's going to have worries. Some of the same worries, especially if y'all building together, y'all going to go through it together. Again, y'all supposed to be working as a tandem, not working against each other. They'll never work out. And again, if it's solely transactional, that's always going to be a problem because you're never going to, again, find any form of true, healthy, happy love that will actually sustain through the end of time. Some of y'all claim y'all want this fairy tale world of marriage and being with somebody, but do you really know what it takes to be with that person? Are you really going to be down for the emotional journey, the spiritual journey, the physical journey with that person? If you're not going to do either of the three I just said, that's a clear sign that you solely are not going to be ready for anything no time soon. Because again, you're going to have people when they decide to let you in their world, they're letting you in all the way. And the minute that that world starts to look dark and gloomy, that could be a problem. That's crazy, James. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good game though. I can tell. Everybody glued to that TV tonight. Hold on one second, y'all. Think I got action. Double check, son. But yeah, let's keep it a buck. 104.97 now. Snap. Well, I'm not gonna lie. James, that's gonna be a good series right here. So not gonna lie, I feel like it's gonna go 7 games. I don't know why. I just feel like it is. So they could go either way. Basketball is always unpredictable. So, but like I said, you know, these conversations, when you go in depth, trust me, you're gonna have to go in depth because we got to get back to some form of reform. It's time to regroup and refocus because again, money comes and goes. If it's solely about money, you'll never be fully happy in life. You'll just be using that to cover up whatever. But again, like I said, if you don't have those 3 tangibles I just mentioned not too long ago, it's a shared sign that you're really not ready to be with anybody. I don't care what your preference is, nor any of that. I'm just saying in general, you ain't gonna be able to be with nobody if you ain't really gonna be with them in those 3 minutes. Because again, some people will let you in, but once you walk out, there ain't no coming back. But once they felt like you walked out, again, there is no coming back. But all in all, tonight was just a good conversation, though. You know. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Anything can still happen. But right now, like I said, it's kind of quiet where I'm at. Like it's quiet compared to the other night when they was on the wild patch. Yeah. So but that's all I'm saying though. It's it's really critical that some of y'all really take a deep introspective in life. What's solely important. Because if money is the only thing that's important to you, guess what? You can have all of it, or it could be a possibility you have none of it. Because again, you ain't going to gain much out of. Money is only here solely to pay bills and try to build towards a future, especially if you already are building a family. But if it's nowhere near there yet, don't worry about it. Again, some people will only worry about the irrefutable facts. Sorry, the irrefutable facts. Definitely, you don't know what you got as far as time on this earth, your health. You don't know nothing. Everything is unpredictable because you can't read the future. You can't go into your future and see what it holds. But you can be a part of what your future holds. And you want to know how you do that? Again, when you decide you are going to try to share your life with somebody, you need to make sure that that person is locked in just like you locked in. Any shift in energy, anything that just don't feel right, it's time to have the conversation, but also start thinking.
Like, other than that, you know, main three intangibles to something great and healthy. And again, I could speak from experience. Again, it's about compromise. It's not about putting pressure on, and it's not about even the big arguments that happen. Because again, everybody's going to have some form of disagreement and argument. Again, nothing is ever perfect. But if it's nothing major to where you would leave a person, then again, you just work through it. That's a part of it. But again, it has to be compromised. Again, you want a person to stay with you, want a person to build with you, love you, and be all of these things. But what are you offering back in return? Because again, it's easy for people to want things. But when it comes down to reciprocation, it seems to be a problem. And again, this is why a lot of people right now are fearful about even dating. Because if it always seems like it's just going to be about a transactional situation happening, at some point, a person's going to check out because, or they going to just see it. You ain't there for them. You there for what you can do, and that's never good. So again, take your time, you know. And when you truly are invested in trying to share or build a world with somebody, guess what? You both got to get your paintbrushes ready, get that easel ready, and yeah, you got to come together. And that 50-50 crap that everybody talking about again is really no 50-50s in life. I can't give you half of me. I can only give you 100 of it. And it's supposed to be the same way. So, things to think about, conversations that need to be had. And guess what? I'm still going to be part of those conversations, even if it ain't every day. See, just because I detach, that don't mean I'm detaching from this. But, it's always good to, again, have in-depth conversations. When you detach, it's because you need to recharge. You need to think, you need to process everything correctly. And then when you're ready to do certain things, like have certain conversations, you could go deep and really go in depth. So, this is something for some people to think about. See, again, most people want to only focus on the negative, but there's always something positive, even through negativity. But all the negative that I've been going through lately, I gained something positive out of it. So, you know, but that's life. You're gonna always gain something positive throughout that negativity. True, baby. But yeah, it's really important to know what's important to your life. Always remember this, and this is on both ends. When a person is giving you the things that you need, that's more important than the things that you want. Because guess what? When you need that person, they gonna beat it. When you want that person in, they're gonna beat it. When you need that advice, they're going to give you that best advice. When you just need that moment of clarity and love, they're going to give that to you. Those needs are always going to be more important than the wants. So just remember that. When somebody does open their world up to you, it's for good reasons. It's because you can be trusted. But don't betray that trust and think that you won't get your karma. Because even if that person don't set the karma, or if that karma just don't pan out the right way, then they become the karma. And it's going to be quick. It's going to definitely be felt. And in some cases, it's going to be slow and agonizing. So just got to remember that. When somebody lets you in, they trying to let you in for all the good reasons. The minute them reasons don't feel good anymore, you can expect a one-way ticket up out of there. But, hopefully, again, somebody did get something out of this. Because, again, we love to always think about the transactional things of life. Or we always like to think about the what ifs instead of just focusing on life itself. You might want to do certain things, and guess what? If it was meant for that man upstairs to call you home, what you gonna do if you didn't do anything? That's why, again, it's not you just live every day like it's your last, but you try to make the best impressions and you try to share that with somebody in life. Some people never got a chance to really be a part of life, never got a chance to walk this earth. And I'm saying that because it's a reality. Some of y'all don't want to face reality, but it's time that you start facing it now. Tomorrow ain't promised, and even if it is, you never know what could happen. And while you do and have the space to still continue to breathe and build and grow, you better find somebody that is going to be conducive to that building as well. Because, yeah, you could do everything by yourself. But then again, there's going to be things you're not going to be able to take on alone. And that's when that partner will come in and help ease some of that off of you. Yeah, good looking, James. I see the score now. But just had to come and have this conversation tonight. And again, I appreciate everybody that rocked out. Appreciate everybody that shared out. Again, I don't want the people to get this thing misconstrued at all. When I said I was going to be in depth with these conversations, I will. It's just going to get deeper now. When you have those heightened senses on things, you tend to know how to just do it. One thing to remember, though, is, again, make sure that you with a person, or make sure that you're going to build with a person because you truly, honestly love them and appreciate everything that they do for you, even down to the smallest things. Because, again, those blessings are hard to come by. So, yeah, you might think you got options. You can have some options for now. But remember, when you make certain decisions, especially decisions that you have to live with, you can't come back from that. So if you deciding that you're only going to be with somebody because they can do something for you, guess what? You're going to get left out at some point because that person will definitely know what it is. And again, detachment. So again, when you truly value people, you do everything in your power to keep them in. And that's not just even relationship wise. That's just on all levels. When you have the right type of energy around you, the right type of things will continue to happen. But yeah, appreciate everybody that's been a part of the build, still becoming a part of the build. And yes, we're still going to keep having these in-depth talks and conversations. Whether it's every day or every other day, you know what it is. But I would advise some people to, take some time. It's definitely important, especially not just on your mental health, but on your spiritual health again. Too much stress, still the number one killer, at least in my book. Some people are going out just by the simplest stresses. Too much of it. It's not good for your heart. It could break your body down. It could mess you up on all cylinders. Your health overall is always going to be the most important thing. So take care of yourself overall, and then you'll be strong enough to take care of the person that you are building with. You know, all in all, though, snap. Let me find out. Let me find out. This is where the people are going to be clutching their pearls right now, clutching their jerseys, clutching everything. It just says 33 seconds left. Let's see what happens. Maybe a overtime. Maybe a overtime. Oh, it's over. It's over. But seemed like it was a good game. Well, like I said, this is going to be an interesting series. And to be quite honest, I'm kind of mad at myself only because I should have bet it. I said this weeks ago. I said this more than a few people. I said I feel like it's going to be the Knicks and the Spurs in the finals. This is going to be a repeat of the last time they faced off in 1999. And if I would have just made the bet, I probably would have got something. See, you see what happens when I do too much overthinking? I don't think about the important things. I could have got some money. No, that's not important. That's not really that important. But hey, it is what it is. All in all, though, tonight was just one of those great conversations. I appreciate everybody that rocked out. Appreciate everybody that shared out. And shout outs again. Shout outs to Riders. And shout outs to my brother Word. I know he probably somewhere in the bushes watching. You know. Yeah, I know, James. I'm gonna start doing that from now on, at least when it comes to that. But that's because I sat here and said it, and I was just being funny when I said that. I said it's gonna be Knicks and the Spurs in the finals. And then turned around and now look, it's a fruition. So I know from now on, when I really feel that gut on everything, I'm gonna take that bet. I could have had a celebration right now. A little celebration. But nah, definitely was a good one. And again, I appreciate everybody that rocked out. Um, I know there's a lot of y'all that's celebrating birthdays this week. I gotta actually give a happy birthday to the aunt. Yep. I got another minutes to do that. So, but yeah, again, hopefully everybody enjoyed the evening. Hopefully everybody enjoyed the conversation. Like I said, I'll be back and forth on here, but overall, when I do, you already know you're gonna get something good out of it. And anytime that link is dropped, y'all already know y'all more than welcome. Again, hopefully somebody got something out the conversation. Always a blessing to bring something to the folks, and y'all already know what it is. Those celebrating birthdays this week, I didn't forget about y'all. And not forget about y'all. I didn't forget about you. May y'all enjoy every moment of your birthdays. I think I got another 45 minutes before I got to start saying happy birthdays. Yeah, yeah. But again, hopefully y'all enjoy another year and another blessing around the sun. And if y'all was able to see another year in good health and good spirits, give your praises where it's due. Again, make the most of your day. Keep creating those memories and keep enjoying every moment with the people that you love and the people that really mean something to you. And it, I know I felt kind of evil tonight only because of this avatar. So I felt like I might as well put some evil music to it. Yeah, my bad. Anytime you see this, yeah, you might get one of those throughout the night too. So appreciate everybody that rocked out. Hopefully y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evenings. If I ain't back here tomorrow, I could possibly do something Wednesday. Um, and again, if you ain't subbed to the backup channel, make sure you subbed up. Like I said, I'm gonna try to start doing some stuff over there as well. I'm gonna try to give this channel a little breathing room too. Time to detach and time to attach with the other one. So appreciate everybody that rocked out. Y'all already know. If y'all was new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Shout outs to the replay gang. Shout outs to the Shadow Mafia and the Shadow Babies. Y'all know what it is, baby. For everybody that was in attendance tonight, y'all already know that love is love and they'll be reciprocated as such. I don't know how to be fake. All I can do is give you real. That's all I'm gonna do is give you real topics and real business. And yeah, I kind of been slacking on some food shorts, I noticed, but life been life and so yeah. Don't worry, y'all gonna be catching a little bit of everything. If you ain't been catching them shorts, catch them and get some good laughs out of it. You know, yeah, maybe that inspire you to do something else. But all in all, though, appreciate y'all all for rocking out. Y'all stay safe. Keep that third eye open. And until the next live, we out of here. Peace and blessings.